characterized by having this variable x, where the power of this x is always 1. Now, when you want to represent a side or a left or be anything unknown, we usually represent by an equation. Okay. Now, how does quadratic enter algebra? So you see, you have a length, you have another dimension, breadth. Now you think about finding the area. It's all about multiplying the length with the breadth. Yes. And now, see, if you have two lengths, if you have your length x plus a and your breadth is x plus b, then find the area because your lengths are known, area also be known, right? So this area is found out by finding or multiplying the expressions. So when you multiply them, so you have linear equation as I was saying, the linear is one dimension and you have the area of this. The area is all about multiplying the length with the breadth. Yeah, or the length with the rectangle. When you take any plane figure, then finding the area is always done by taking the two sides, by multiplying two sides. So if you were to take x plus as length and plus b as breadth, on multiplying it, you find the area. So area is now expressed as quadratic. Why? Because of multiplying in first algebra sessions, you must have studied in school. So when you multiply this, what happens? I know, I think you know multiply. So it just the first variable multiplies the second bracket completely, and the second variable multiplies the first bracket completely. The second bracket completely like this. Now, this is when you get the x squared plus bx plus ax plus b or ab. See, there are steps when you get x squared plus a plus b whole x, okay, plus ab. Now, this is the characteristic of quadratic expression. Meaning, every expression is called quadratic when the highest power or the highest power is 2, okay, and there is no higher power in that, and there could be the expression of the power of 1 term, and it means there is no x, or here I can say that the power of x to the power of 0. Such kind of expressions where the highest power is 2, that is the characteristic of quadratic. So in real life, you get quadratics when it's solving, like finding the area, or let's say you have your the sum and the product of two numbers, then you get a quadratic. So every time you get these kind of expressions, which we call it as quadratic expressions. Now, quadratic equation is when I say that this expression will now be equal to something. Equation is only when you have that equal to present. So standard way of having a quadratic equation, now x squared doesn't have to be multiplied, it can be multiplied by any number. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. This is called the standard form of a quadratic equation. understood that okay, quadratic is characterized by having this x squared term, and the lower terms or the lower power terms can be present. Now, what do you do to solve quadratic? Now, what is the meaning of solving a quadratic equation? So, values of x that will satisfy this equation. Satisfy means there will be some value of x, or if that value of x here, it will exactly be equal to 0. Okay? That is solving quadratic. Okay? So there are various methods of solving quadratic. We will try each method one by one. In competitive exams, they will not usually ask you to solve complex quadratic. Every quadratic equation given to you will be very simple or something that can be solved out without calculating. So throughout this session, I'm going to tell you how you can approach questions in quadratic without having to use a calculator. Let me take an example of the simplest form of quadratic. So usually the simplest form is when this value of a. Now remember one very important thing. Quadratic is also so condition that makes this expression quadratic is this value of a should not be equal to 0. This is the main condition. Okay? You cannot have the value of a as 0, because if you have a as 0, the whole term will vanish. It won't be there. If 0 times a is 0, the term is gone. If this term is gone, it becomes a linear expression or a linear equation. So therefore, this a has to be a non-zero value every time. If it is non-zero, then it can be both positive. The questions can have this a value as positive, or it can have the value negative. Okay, so I'm going to show you the simplest method of solving a quadratic. Remember in this example that I took, okay, I'm going to take a similar example and I'm going to show you how you get a quadratic expression. So let's say I have a length. Length is x plus 3. And now the breadth is x plus 2. So to find the area, you would multiply them, right? Now multiplying this, again you will expand the brackets. Upon expanding, you get x squared term again. Again, you're going to multiply each term one time. So 3 multiplied x is. Now this x will multiply the second term, 2 gives you 2x. 3 times 2 is 6. So the expression we get here for the would be x squared 5x plus 6. That is how you got a quadratic. Now, what is the meaning of solving this quadratic? Solving it, you can solve a quadratic or when it is an equation. So you will be doing this to zero. Okay? Solving is just the opposite of what you have done here in expansion. Look at this number 5 and 6. 6 upon the constant 3 and 2. And this 5 is the same two numbers add on with each other to give me 5. Now, the best way we can approach quadratic is look at the middle number 5. We want to think about numbers that add up to make this 5. At the same time, the two numbers I have chosen must multiply to give me 6. Okay? Now, if you think about this product number, you should always take the product first, the last number, the constant. This number can be factorized. So 6 has the first factor 1 times 6. And the second factor is 2 times 3. And if I would take 6 into 1, I get 5 if I put 6 minus 1. But the thing is, I want the satisfy both the condition of, giving me a positive 6, at the same time the sum has positive 5, it will be rejected. I'm going to take the number 3 and 2. If I look at this here, then I know plus 2 plus 3 is going to give us a result of 5. Once you figure out the two values, plus 2 and plus 3, what do you do? You just write x plus 2 minus x plus 3. Okay? And now because I have two numbers multiplying with each other to give me 0, I will say that either of this is 0. So x plus 2 is equal to 0, or x plus 3 is equal to 0. Thereby, I have two values. Remember, this is the most important thing for quadratic equation. For every quadratic equation, we must get two values of x plus y condition. Okay? In algebraic expression, always represents the total number of solutions. So if the equation would start with x cubed, you can be sure that there are three values of x satisfying that condition. Alright. So here goes 2 is x plus 2 is 0, x plus 3 is 0, give me x equals to minus 2 or minus 3, because upon taking that number to the other side, it is 0 minus as it is negative. So this is getting two factors. This is solving factorization. Okay, this is the method of solving in quadratic equation. And no matter, there are quadratics which are not factorized, but especially in competitive exams and government exams, they will actually ask questions which are factorized. This is the most simplest method of solving a quadratic equation. Now, there seems to be a problem, and we will get back to this. Okay, I hope you can hear me. Yeah, all I wanted to tell you was I looked at the first equation. I saw that 3 was a common multiplier. I got rid of 3, and then after that I got the expression very simple, x squared minus 6x plus 5. And I looked at the constant term. I figured out the pair of factors, which gives me 5. I got 5 and 1. Now because the middle term is negative 6, which means I want the sum to be negative 6, and because the product was positive 5, I need to keep the numbers in the same sign. So therefore I went ahead and wrote minus 5 and minus 1, because upon adding them I'm getting the middle term minus 6. Upon multiplying I'm getting that positive 5. So the final answer is always to be opposite of what two values you get in this factor. Okay, so what you'll do, because you got minus 5 and minus 1 as factors, you'll go ahead and say that the values of x will now be 5 and 1. I got the values of x. Now similarly, if you look at equation 2, I'm going to rub this off. I got the answers, my answers are here, so I need to compare the answers of the second equation. Similarly, if you look at the second equation, all the 3 terms given to me have 4 as a common multiplier, so I can divide the whole equation by 4 again. What happens if I divide by 4? 4 divided by 4 is 1, so y square alone. 4 times how much is 84? 4 times 2 is 8. And 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 8 is 42. Now again my equation has become very simple. 80, I think the first pair of factor that comes into your mind by looking at 80 would be definitely 8 times 10. But you know 8 and 10 is never going to give me 21 as the sum. So what should you do? Don't get stuck. 10 can be written as 2 times 5. Okay? Now what you'll do is you'll just go ahead with the previous number 8 and you combine with one of the numbers. With 2, then 8 times 2 is 16. So 16 times 5 will also be 80. Now look at that number, 65. Upon adding them, I get that middle value 21. But because again the sum here is negative 21, I need to make sure that my numbers are in the same sign. So minus 16 minus 5 gives me minus 21, giving me that the final answer for y has to be opposite of what I got here. So y is equal to 5 or is equal to 6. That's it. I solved the two equations. Because I'm explaining to you right now, that is the reason I'm taking a longer time. But if you'll be doing this question by yourself, following the same method, it would barely take any 10 seconds, I guess. Yeah. So you have the values of y as 5 and 16, and the values of x you got are 5 and 1. So how will you compare them? One of the values for x and y, they are equal, whereas the y value, the other value is greater for y. So the best way you can describe the relation between the two variables x and y is either y is greater than x or they are equal, because one of the value is equal. Yeah. So the final answer would be y is greater than or equal to x. Okay. So you will go ahead and mark that answer as your option, or from the options that is your correct answer. So that is how you approach the pair of equations, and that is how you will find the relation between the two quadratic equations and the solution. Now that was a very simple question, I would say. Every time the questions might not be so simple. How exactly can you approach a question like this when the numbers are big enough now? Like you see, 368. It is a big number. So always one number. It's a product number given to me. So I'm going to factorize 368. First of all, it is clear to me that 368, 4 can divide this number, correct? So obviously 2 can divide, but if I'll use 2, then I know 2 times some 3-digit has to give me 368. There is no way I can connect 39 in that case. So I ignore doing that, okay? Because I'm quite certain that 2 and the multiple of 2 to give you 368, that might not be the suitable pair. So I'll go ahead and think about 4. Because the number is divisible by 4, I'll also go ahead and think if 8 can divide, because again, if I'll try with 4, 4 times 9 is 6, and 4 times 8 is 8, right? So again, 4 and 92, there is no way I can find their sum to be 39. So the other pair you could think was 8, but still, I mean, if you have started with 4 already, go ahead and factorize the number 92. So 92, 4 times 9, I mean, if 4 can divide 92, it could. Why? Because 4 times 11 is 4 times 22 is 88. So 88 plus 4 is 92. So it can be 4 could divide 92. So 4 which is 92. 4 times 23, because 4 times 22 is 88. So the next number will be 92, and that is obtained by simply multiplying with 23. I think